Good afternoon and welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Eric Chilton alongside Maddie Gardner, Taheshah Moyes.
We are here to inform you, make you feel connected, and as always, let you into our world.
Yes, and you can chat with us during the show as we stream this show live on the WFMY News 2 Facebook page, so join the conversation that way.
And we are on top of some big news this afternoon. Just moments ago, Governor Roy Cooper held a press conference about the latest COVID-19 trends in North Carolina. Today, we saw more than 4,600 new cases, which brings our total over 400,000 since the pandemic began in March. We also set a new record with hospitalizations. 2,373 people are currently in hospitals with the virus. Now, because of these big increases, the governor announced new restrictions for the state that will start this Friday.
North Carolina will enter into a modified stay-at-home order. This order will require people to stay at home between the hours of 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. It means just what it says. People are to stay at home between those hours. Businesses, including restaurants, bars, entertainment venues, personal care businesses, and most retail stores and more, will be required to close by 10 p.m.
Governor Cooper also stressed that if our numbers continue to get worse, more restrictions will follow.
It's being called V-Day in the UK as a mass vaccination program against the coronavirus is underway. The UK's first 800,000 doses are going to the most vulnerable, hospital and nursing home workers and the elderly as well. Now, the UK has secured 40 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine, enough for 20 million people. British officials admit they face huge logistical challenges in rolling out the vaccine nationwide. While hospitals are first to give the shots, vaccine points will eventually be set up in parking lots, sports stadiums, even race courses.
The FDA's first review of the potential Pfizer vaccine is very promising. The administration posted its findings online, praising the vaccine. On Thursday, the FDA will convene what's essentially a science court that will debate just how strong the data backing the shot really is. The agency is expected to make a decision in the days following the review on whether to give Pfizer emergency approval for their vaccine here in the United States.
Walmart is now offering COVID-19 at-home test kits. The test kits provided by My Lab Box allow customers to choose between the nasal test or the saliva test. Now, they range in price from $99 to $135, but it's unclear if the test will be covered by health insurance just yet. To get a kit, customers must purchase a code that provides access to a health survey. And if the survey expresses a test is needed for the customer, a physician's order will be generated and the purchase is finalized. There's nothing like getting hands-on experience, especially in the medical field. But in the era of COVID-19, many universities have had to change how they do things. ECPI University introduced a new program that lets their students grow while learning virtually. I sat down with a professor to get the lowdown on how the program works.
It really is different, and it's fun.
Dr. Tom Hodges, Director of Nursing at ECPI University in Greensboro, is thrilled about the new tool his students can use. It's called the eHospital. It's a simulation platform that lets students practice clinical skills wherever they are on their own schedule.
We have it used by our medical assisting programs, physical therapy, our registered nursing programs, all of our practical nursing programs.
The project was spurred due to the pandemic. When classes shifted online, the university knew students would be missing out on critical learning opportunities.
When COVID came along, within 6 weeks, we were ready with our first platform.
The eHospital is broken up into 6 parts: triage, patient room, medical laboratory, education center, operating, and emergency rooms.
There is a checklist with everything that has to be done so the student can actually complete the task. And then it shows that they are actually been exposed and they're competent to perform the skill still under supervision.
And while this won't be a replacement for the students, Dr. Hodges says he expects this program to stick around long after COVID is gone.
It's going to supplement their classroom time, their lab time, and even if they're in the actual clinical setting, and we can actually help them to go back and review procedures right then and there.
So one thing that stood out to me, Maddie and Eric, was Dr. Hodge said that this program was put together using all of their in-house experts. So I like to call it the brainchild of the university. It's all the brightest minds of putting their minds together to make this work for their students.
You know, the cool thing too with this, it reminds me, if you think about Microsoft Flight Simulator, that's a computer program that was PC back in the day, but it was so realistic that it counted toward flight hours for pilots to get their licenses, and this kind of is along the same lines. The technology is so fast and so good and so graphically, you know, appropriate that it's like real training.
Yeah, and the last thing we need right now are healthcare professionals having to slow down their education because of the pandemic, because obviously we need more of them out in the field helping people just navigate what COVID-19 is bringing us. So I'm glad that they're being able to do that.
All set.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right. We'll get back to you, Taheshah. For now, we have some headlines to catch you up on with your 4 to 5 roundup, and we begin with Costco. They are extending their special operating hours for older members as COVID-19 cases rise across the country. So customers older than 60 or anyone who is immunocompromised will have an hour set aside to shop without other guests. The move comes less than a month after Costco announced it was extending its mask mandate that requires all customers, even those with medical conditions, to wear a mask. Researchers at a cybersecurity firm say that there are vulnerabilities in software that millions of devices use, and they say those flaws could be exploited by hackers to get inside of work and home computer networks. Hacks could potentially affect thermometers, smart plugs, 3D printers, and industrial control systems coming from 150 manufacturers. The firm says users should take defensive measures to minimize the risk. And Mount Everest, the world's highest mountain, officially just got a little bit higher. The new official height is 29,032 feet. It ends a discrepancy between China and Nepal. The new height was agreed upon after the two countries sent surveyors from their respective sides of the mountain. Nepal previously measured Everest at 29,029 feet, while China said it was 29,017 feet because they did not include the snow cap.
Well, let's not talk about snow caps. We can talk about a trace of snow. We had that yesterday, first official trace of snow on the calendar for the year. Didn't amount to much, but we had a lot of folks using social media, reaching out to us about that and sending emails in as well. So yes, it was official. Look at the temperatures, 43 in Greensboro right now. Same reading in Winston-Salem, Walnut Cove at 42, Mount Airy at 41. We dropped to 29 in the higher elevations around Boone, and we warm up to 48 in Burlington and Troy at 47. We think that really overall the highs today are going to end up in the mid 40s for most people, maybe some mid to upper 40s. But with satellite and radar combination showing not a lot of anything over us, it's fairly clear those temperatures will drop pretty quickly tonight. As we head into the overnight, we expect some 20s out there for overnight lows. It'll be a little bit breezy at times. We're kind of between two systems, but the good news, high pressure starts to build in from the south. That'll push a little bit to the east. That is a milder flow for us over the next several days. So we'll go from those low 50s tomorrow, really in the 40s today, but low 50s tomorrow. Winds will die down a little bit, sunny to partly cloudy all the way through the rest of the work week, but we warm to the upper 50s for Thursday, Friday. Saturday topping out at 60. Rain chance on Sunday, Monday. It's a 40 and 20% chance for those 2 days. Mid 50s Sunday and down to 49 for the high with clearer skies toward the beginning of next week.
If you take an antigen test too early or too late, could you get a false negative? That's one of the questions we keep seeing when it comes to antigen tests, also known as rapid tests. Sure, you get your results back faster, but how accurate are they? Our Verify team got down to the bottom of this for you.
Antigen tests, sometimes referred to as rapid tests. We're answering, if you take one too early or too late after getting exposed, could you get a false negative? Our sources here are the FDA, the CDC, the testing companies themselves, and Dr. Stuart Ray at Johns Hopkins. Let's start back in May when the FDA first issued emergency use authorizations for antigen tests. They warned back then about false negatives because these tests are less sensitive than the PCR tests. That means that antigen tests work best when you're at the height of your illness, but not as well at the front or the end.
The test is not perfect at both ends of that time interval. The antigen tests will take longer to become positive, and they'll turn negative sooner because that peak of virus level will go above threshold for the antigen test too, but at a different level.
The CDC agrees, writing, quote, "The antigen level in specimens collected either before symptom onset or late in the course of infection may be below the limit of detection of virus of the test." According to documents on the FDA's website, even the companies that make the test note that false negatives are possible if you get tested too many days after symptoms start. So yeah, an antigen test can lead to a false negative if you take it too early or too late from when you first get exposed.
Well, we can all use a lot of socially distanced holiday cheer this year. And coming up, Eric Chilton shows us the perfect holiday events that are happening right here in Guilford County this week. Stick around, your 4 to 5 is coming right back.
So, you know, it's a holiday event, it's social distance, and it's outside. Even this time of the year now, that kind of makes it feel like it's the holidays, doesn't it? Yeah, it's pretty cool. Not expensive either. Now that I have your attention, let's talk about what they're doing at Summerfield Farms. That's where you want to be this weekend. They're showing the holiday movie Elf Under the Stars. I spoke with their marketing director. Lauren, let's first talk about how you guys have adapted through all this, because Summerfield Farms used to have big outside and indoor events. So how are you adapting?
Yes, we're carrying on as normal as we can while keeping safety at the forefront of everything that we do. One of the new things that we have this year during the pandemic has been the launch of our beverage truck, the Well Truck, and it's an all outdoor bar, and we sell snacks and have fire pits as well. So we're having that and staying as safe as possible.
So let's talk about this weekend, holiday movies under the stars. This is kind of cool, especially this time of the year when it's you know, a little chilly out there. Super holiday oriented. How does it work?
We are showing everyone's favorite holiday movie, Elf. We are inviting families out to stay socially distant. They sit on a picnic blanket more than 6 feet apart from each other, and we're going to be showing Elf on a really large screen outside behind the pole barn under the stars, and we're really looking forward to it.
I just keep picturing like a bonfire. I don't know why, I just keep picturing that out there. And will you have anything like that?
We do have bonfire pits close by, but it honestly gets so dark out there that for safety we want to try to keep the focus on the movie, but we have the bonfires going up at the well truck near the market.
So then Sunday, you have something that I didn't know you guys did, but tell me about this Christmas charcuterie thing.
Yes, our newest event, we're partnering with Wanderlust Boards, and she is going to be leading a class on creating Christmas charcuterie boards using all local, fresh ingredients, and it's going to be taking place outside behind the market, also at the well truck.
So is that more like a learning experience, like a workshop type thing, or is she just doing this for people to buy?
Yes, it's going to be all hands-on where people can create their own board, and she's going to walk people through it while being socially distant the entire time.
This is perfect. Thank you, Lauren, for taking time out today. We look forward to being out there and seeing you guys. So this is really neat. There is a fee for the tickets to see Elf, but you get the movie. 1618 is doing the food, which is a phenomenal restaurant chain in Greensboro. And then they have their well truck with regular drinks and cocktails as well. So it's a lot of fun, and people should try it. Plus, I knew when I said the word charcuterie, Maddie and I are paying close attention.
Yes, I miss the days when you were actually in the newsroom. He would bring me cheese and olives and crackers, and that would be our fancy snack. I do miss that.
But you're really good at those, making the charcuterie boards. Not a lot of people are.
Thanks, Taheshah. You're really good at helping me eat them, too. One day, folks,
Yes.
the 4 to 5, we'll be all back together and we'll have meat and cheese to celebrate. But I think this is great what Summerfield Farms is doing. I think everyone is really craving some holiday fun, and it seems like they are doing this in a safe way outside. And yes, they will need those fire pits because it's a bit chilly.
I feel like I need
It's
to
a
break out
beautiful
my
venue,
onesie
too.
that I have.
We both understood exactly what you just said, talking at the same time. We'll be
Yeah.
right back.
Would you buy a mask for $1.5 million? Yes, more than $1 million from one mask. I take it most of us probably would not, but that's what one art collector is paying for the world's most expensive mask. The 18-karat white gold mask is decorated with 3,600 white and black diamonds and fitted with the top-rated N95 filters at the request of the buyer. But there is actually a good reason why the art collector wanted a mask this expensive. A company in Israel was losing a lot of business during during the pandemic and almost had to close a factory with 120 workers. So the art collector asked them to make the expensive masks so employees could keep their jobs. So I guess that is the bright spot in this story, because on face value, $1.5 million for a mask, not my speed. I don't know this kind of money.
I always say that people who buy that kind of thing, they just do it because they can.
Right. And, you know, I'm watching that and I'm thinking, how do you clean it? Because obviously you can't just throw it away or put it in the washing machine like you can with the reusable cloth masks or the one-time use masks. So do they just use some Clorox wipes on a $1.5 million mask? Like, what do you do?
I feel when it's that expensive, they're not going to use it, right? It's when you have something expensive in your home, you kind of just leave it there,
Right.
kind of
That's
like
right.
a museum. So I would assume that maybe it would be like on display in this person's house or something.
Have like a glass case for their mask. I feel like they could have purchased something that they would actually wear and use and still helped the company, but then we wouldn't be talking about it on the news. So maybe they knew exactly what they were doing.
Yes. It's all about attention. Yes. All right, let's talk about our forecast, shall we? We'll throw our attention to that. And we are going to be cold tonight, that's for sure, when we look at the numbers. One thing I want you to note, too, something kind of cool tonight happens at 6:35, so in a little more than a couple hours. It's the space station flyover. These are always neat to see. Plus, it's clear tonight, so it'll be fine. You'll see it easily. Visible for 5 minutes. You want to look to the west-northwest. It'll be moving to the south-southeast, of course. And people always get confused with where to look in the sky as far as how far up or down. If you think it's 0 is looking straight at the horizon and 90 degrees is straight up. It's at 55, so a little more than halfway up in the sky. You'll see it moving across. It looks like a star. I've seen this many times. Pretty cool. Tonight and tomorrow forecast like this, 26 for the overnight low. We'll see highs tomorrow at 53 degrees. A little bit chilly, but not quite as bad as today because we were in the 40s today. Clear skies for the most part, and when you look at a broad picture here, the satellite radar, nothing over our area. Again, we will see those high temperatures start to spike a little bit after Wednesday. We go to 58 and 59 and 60 for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday, a few more clouds. Thursday, Friday, sun. Some rain on Sunday. That'll cool us down with another system moving by, and we'll hover right around the 50-degree mark for Monday and Tuesday with gradual clearing next week.
You can expect to see a couple of new and unusual events coming to the 2024 Olympic Games, including breakdancing. Yes, the International Olympic Committee decided to add breakdancing along with skateboarding, sport climbing, and surfing to the Summer Games. Because of the new additions, the IOC decided to cut most events from boxing and weightlifting.
So I asked you what you thought about adding breakdancing to the Olympics and if you thought other sports should be added as well. And here's what you had to say on my Facebook page today. Adrian said, I think it would be great for breakdancing to be added as an Olympic sport. I would watch it. It takes a ton of physical strength, coordination, rhythm, and talent to be able to breakdance. So why not? But James says, no way. Olympics is for sports competition. Wayne Stroud says, I guess horseshoes will be next. Sharon Kirby thinks cheerleading should be added to the Olympic Games, and Melody Meeks says, well, breakdancing is no different than gymnastics. So, I think that it is definitely a sport. I think it takes a huge amount of physical strength and athleticism to be able to perform breakdancing. I just think it opens up a little bit of a door for other sports because the way this will be judged will be subjective. When you think about it, it's not like a race where you just have to be the first one to cross the finish line. Judges have to make an opinion about what they're seeing on the breakdancing stage and then judge from there. So I wonder if more sports will be added and what this will do to the integrity of the games.
I don't know. I think I have to disagree with you because there are certain skills in breakdancing that a lot of people know. And I feel that you can assign a point level to a certain skill just as you would for ice skating, but also leave room for artistic expression and interpretation.
Listen, she sounds like a judge already. I think you should be one of the Olympic judges. That was phenomenal delivery. I will say, I kind of agree with Taheshah on this. I think they can, because people that do this probably know what the moves are called and how they should be performed and all that. And remember, I did that story not that long ago that they're thinking on getting cornhole as an Olympic event as well. So the door is wide open.
Right, and that's my concern. The door is wide open. So how long are the Olympic Games going to be? And how many, we just saw that they're adding a few sports, but they're also cutting others that have been there for a long time. So what are we going to see leave because they're adding this sport? Listen, I think that breakdancers are athletes. I think that so many people who play a variety of different kinds of sports that are subjected by judges and judged that way are athletes as well. But I don't know. I just feel a little bit iffy about this one.
This is your hill you're dying on.
I don't know. I don't think I'm willing to die on it, though. I'll watch it. It's going to be great. It's going to be entertaining.
I would watch
For sure.
it, too.
All right. We'll be right back.
Yes, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together.
Hi, sorry. Mic check, easy breezy, making the 4 to 5. What rhymes with easy breezy?
Easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. Doesn't rhyme, but that's the saying.
You totally stole my line. I was going to say easy breezy cover girl. Darn it. I'm always a day late and a dollar short. I'm old. Welcome back to the 4 to 5. We continue. It is Eric, Taheshah, and Maddie, like it or not, and we will chat with you online as well.
Oh, Chilton, we are here to inform you, make you feel connected, and let you into our world, like it or not.
Yes, yes. So here's the conversation that's going on right now on the WFMY News 2 Facebook page. Is breakdancing a sport that should be considered in the Olympics? We're talking about it on our live stream. All right, so let's get into some headlines, because just an hour ago, Governor Roy Cooper held a news conference about the latest COVID-19 trends that we've been seeing here in North Carolina. And because of the high numbers over the last few weeks, the governor has announced more restrictions starting this Friday. It includes a statewide stay-at-home order beginning at 10 p.m. and lasting till 5 a.m. That means some businesses will have to close every night at 10 p.m. starting this Friday. On-site alcohol consumption sales must stop at 9 p.m. Dr. Maddie Cohen hopes these restrictions will help slow the spread, but added she's still worried for the people in our state.
This is a global pandemic. This virus is highly contagious and dangerous, but we can slow it down. Do not wait until it is you or your loved one who is sick with COVID to wear a mask. Wait 6 feet apart and wash your hands often. Do not wait until it's you or your loved one alone in a hospital bed struggling against this virus. Do not wait until it's your family that loses someone to COVID-19.
Some somber remarks from Dr. Maddie Cohen there. We have more headlines to get to this afternoon with your 4 to 5 roundup. Complying with a court order, the Trump administration reinstated DACA on Monday to protect undocumented immigrants who came to the U.S. as minors. For the first time in 3 years, the program is once again accepting applications. The Department of Homeland Security said it would administer DACA under the guidelines crafted by the Obama administration back in 2012. There are 640,000 current DACA recipients and an estimated 300,000 teenagers and young adults who could be eligible to apply. Twitter just released a roundup of the top trends this year, and quarantine was mentioned 1.6 million times. No surprise. Tweets with the word home in them were up 143% from last year. Coronavirus dominated most trends, but social justice movements have also played a big part. The hashtag trans rights are human rights was up 557%, and Black Lives Matter was the third most used hashtag this year. The most liked, retweeted, and quoted tweet was from Chadwick Boseman's account announcing his passing. Army leaders are expected to fire or suspend a significant number of officers and soldiers at Fort Hood in Texas. It's intended to correct a culture they believe failed to address systematic leadership failures and a pattern of violence that included murders, sexual assaults, and suicides. 5 soldiers have died in the last year and a half, including Vanessa Guillen.
And Justin, 14 officers were fired from the Army. All right. In other news, President-elect Joe Biden is meeting with civil rights leaders later today to discuss increasing diversity among his top cabinet posts. This comes as CBS News has learned the president-elect intends to nominate retired General Lloyd Austin to be Secretary of Defense. If confirmed by the Senate, he will be the first Black man to hold the position.
As we promote a diverse cabinet, we also understand that the policy priorities that come directly from the president-elect and the White House is more important than anything else.
The White House did not invite any new members to the incoming Biden team to attend the president's afternoon summit that was focused on vaccine distribution. Now, the Trump administration says the doses already purchased guarantee every American can get vaccinated in the next 6 months.
Dr. Jill Biden, the incoming First Lady, plans to advocate for debt-free community college once she moves into the White House, according to a report. The soon-to-be First Lady also plans to push for other key aspects of the education platform that her husband, President-elect Joe Biden, announced during his campaign. So far, at least 17 states have established programs that make community college tuition free for qualifying students.
President Trump is considering a run for the presidency in 2024, and multiple reports say that he may slip President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration to hold an opposing campaign rally to start his campaign. Now, Trump, who has yet to publicly accept the results of the election, is not expected to attend Joe Biden's inauguration, regardless if he holds a rally or not. Last week, Biden said he hopes President Trump attends the inauguration to show a peaceful transition of power between political rivals.
Well, we look at low temperatures tonight forecasted across the area. This one forecast model pretty right on the money. We're calling for 26 for the overnight low. This one's going 25, but kind of an average across the area. Fayetteville 26, Boone same reading, Asheville at 22. We'll warm it up to the 40s closer to the ocean there. Wilmington and Myrtle Beach at 43 and 45 for overnight lows. Again, clear skies the rule heading into the night tonight. And most of the day tomorrow, we'll see a warm up as high pressure ridge to our south starts to shift a little bit. Look at it as it comes into view here on the left side of the image, and it moves on to the east across the Gulf. That'll bring our winds more out of a west, maybe southwest flow, which is slightly warmer. So we'll go from 40s today to probably low 50s tomorrow before we really see some upper 50s and close to 60 heading into the first half of the weekend. Now, there's another system that'll develop back behind that, as there always is, it seems like. That will move through as we get to the end of the weekend, first part of the week, and that's kind of a game changer. So 53 for the daytime high tomorrow. Here's that warm up, upper 50s close to 60 Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sunny Thursday, Friday, partly cloudy Saturday. Little rain Sunday. It's a 40% chance. That'll drop us to 54. That front moves by and we go to 50 and 49 for highs Monday, Tuesday, with a leftover morning shower Monday, but we think after that it's just clear and cool for your Tuesday.
Well, you may have heard the jokes about the quarantine 15 or the COVID-19 pounds, but a new study says stress eating and less activity really do have us packing on the pounds during this pandemic. Let's connect the dots.
It probably comes as no surprise that this pandemic has taken a toll on a lot of us. But now researchers have confirmed something we have suspected. It's leading some to bad habits. The study found big changes in health behaviors, including less physical activity, more unhealthy eating, higher anxiety, and poor quality sleep. While some participants did report improvements like more cooking at home and less eating out, many more reported turning to comfort food. The study was published in the journal Obesity and included thousands of people around the world. It found people struggling with obesity were impacted the most. They reported higher levels of anxiety and weight gain. Though among people not classified as obese, they still found close to 27% also reported weight gain. Though it's not all bad news, 17% of people said they had actually lost weight during the pandemic. Those people reported using the pandemic to increase their physical activity levels and make healthy eating choices. Those who saw health improvements attributed to cooking and baking more at home.
Interesting. I know that I've seen a lot of jokes on social media about having to stay home and just stress eating or maybe finding that comfort food instead of the healthier option. You know, it's all about balance. I think the pandemic is a little bit of an excuse to work out less and eat a little bit more, but we do need to keep our health in mind.
All I have to say is there's a reason I sit down during these shots and I'm not standing up full screen.
Chilton.
Oh. Well, here's what I have to say. I would say just allow yourself some grace, right? This is a tough time. We're dealing with the pandemic. And here's what I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear in the new year, oh, it's time for me to lose all this weight that I gained over this X amount of time. Give yourself some grace. Things will balance out, but don't put so much pressure on yourself. You don't need that on top of pandemic stress.
That's a good point.
All right, so this should look familiar, right? Either working from home or maybe you're in the office, but no one else is in the office. Look at that.
Town,
yeah,
right.
There's nobody there.
So, Tanya, I've done both of these. I do like to be in the office, in the station when I can, but it is really weird seeing all of our empty desks in the newsroom.
I agree. We are certainly the lucky ones able to keep working, whether we're at home or whether we are at the office. Not everybody has that option. I want to show you this right here. More than a third of full-time workers say that they've had their pay cut in 2020 due to the pandemic. A Magnify Money survey shows along with the pay cut, 15% of the people polled said their company did not hand out bonuses this year. All right, but it's not all bad news. 54% of workers said they received a raise this year. So it all kind of depends who they were talking to in that survey. Now you might be asking, where is my refund? Yeah, if you filed a paper tax return, you're probably one of the 6.6 million whose tax returns are simply just sitting on a desk somewhere waiting to be processed. There's good news with this though. If you are getting a refund, chances are you're going to get interest paid to you from the IRS. We're going to talk about that at 6 o'clock tonight. All right, we're answering your questions about insurance tonight. Tonight at 5:30, we've got an expert to talk about questions about auto insurance, home insurance, flood insurance, renter's insurance. Ask the questions that you don't think you can ask the company you do business with. He's going to shoot straight with you. Text your questions, 336-379-5775.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Rollerson with the 146 ESB, and I just want to wish all my friends and family a Merry Christmas.
You know, maybe you've read a few articles on this over the last week or so. I know I've seen this a lot, but it's called a Christmas star event. It is scheduled in a little less than 2 weeks. It seems that Jupiter and Saturn will possibly align the closest that they've been in nearly 800 years. This is an extremely rare event, and it's really cool. I spoke with Elon University astrophysics professor Tony Kreider about this celestial event. Dr. Kreider, this is really cool. I mean, you know, I'm a big science geek, so I love this stuff, but tell us what will happen on December 21st. What should we look for?
So if you go outside and look into the southwest, you're going to see over the course of the next few weeks, Jupiter and Saturn getting closer and closer together in the sky. Jupiter should be what appears to be the brightest star you see, and Saturn the second brightest star, but unlike stars, these planets don't twinkle. They're a bright, steady light. And so you should see them getting closer and closer together all the way up until December 21st.
And then on the 21st, will they appear as one and be a super bright object in the sky, or what will it look like?
If you have sharp vision, you'll be able to see that they're separated slightly. Or if you're looking through a telescope or binoculars, you'd see them separated. But you would be able to see Jupiter and Saturn within the telescope eyepiece. You wouldn't need to point to one and then point to the other. They should be very, very close together. But for them to be as close as they're going to be this year, it hasn't happened for almost 800 years.
We're literally talking about when Genghis Khan was alive is the last time this happened.
Yeah. I've certainly never seen them this close before, and I've spent in my entire professional life having students look at Jupiter through the telescope, and then I'll adjust the telescope and maybe they'll look at Saturn. But this will be the first time I'll ever be able to look through the telescope and see them, both Jupiter and Saturn.
So people are calling this a Christmas star, and they're comparing it to the Star of Bethlehem and what happened when Jesus was born. Explain that correlation.
While some scholars think that it was just a metaphor, others suggest that perhaps it was an alignment of Jupiter and Saturn, a triple conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, where they went back and forth across each other's paths several times around that time period.
That's interesting. Well, we'll all be watching, and thank you for your expertise. We appreciate it. So it was fascinating, and me being such a science geek, I ended up talking with Dr. Kreider for about an hour after the interview was over with. Pretty neat stuff. You'll be able to look to the southwest to see this. They're calling it the Christmas star event because even he said that astronomers have gone back, and looked at that time period within, 5 to 10 years on either side of year one, basically, to see if it was like the Christmas star in Bethlehem. And he said there was a triple conjunction that happened back then, which I think he said was Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars, which made it even brighter. But some scientists think that it was also a supernova. So it's really interesting stuff.
Yeah, and as you go through the years, technology gets so advanced. I wonder what the story will be, 100 years from now, some strange things that are happening, and what that conversation will be like, too. I do find it fascinating that maybe what happened 800 years ago is what's going to happen in a few weeks.
Yes, and I think it's so appropriate that it's happening right around Christmas as well, Chilton. Now we just have to cross our fingers that the skies are clear on December 21st so we can see what's going on in the stars.
Yeah, it's a shame he's not smart. I was joking with him. I said, I feel like a mental midget standing next to you. This guy's brilliant.
I took astronomy in college. It was not my best subject. We'll leave it at that. The 4 to 5 will be right back. Glad I was better at journalism. Welcome back to your 4 to 5. A member of Congress is calling out some lawmakers for the messages or images they have on their face masks while they're in the chamber. Representative Jim Banks, a Republican out of Indiana, sent a letter to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi saying that some of the mask messages, quote, diminish the seriousness and decorum of the House floor and that there should be a ban of stylized masks.
So I wanted to get your thoughts on this story, and I asked you, hey, should there be a ban? And here's what a few of you had to say in our comments. Mark says, as long as people are wearing a mask, who cares what it looks like? Elizabeth says, there are bigger fish to fry. If anything, he should make sure that everyone from both floors wear a mask. Michelle says, if we could get people to just pull them over their nose, I'd be grateful. Amy Adams says, I look at it this way. If we have to be stuck wearing them, might as well make them fun. And there are definitely more important things to worry about right now. Jessica says, as long as it's not blatantly offensive, I don't see an issue. And Linda says, my goodness, this is silly. He needs to be called out on this. Let's get the money to those in need, address the virus. The list of important issues goes on and on. As you can see on my page, overwhelmingly, a lot of people who commented just said, you know what, this is not the conversation that we need to be having on the House floor. Let's pass a coronavirus relief bill first.
I have to agree with the lady who commented and said, as long as it's not offensive or prohibiting anyone from doing their job, I don't see an issue. I mean, cute masks make me feel better about having to wear a mask. So if that makes Congress members feel better too, so be it. I don't care.
Yeah, I agree with that. If anything, it adds a little levity, as long as it's not offensive. That's completely right. And I mean, I agree. The fact that we all have to wear them kind of makes the feeling ominous for a lot of people. If you can add a little bit of humor to it, it always kind of vents the teapot a little bit.
Yeah. Absolutely. Honestly, wearing a mask keeps me warmer in these cold temperatures. I have to say, I've enjoyed having something over my face when I go out.
We need to get you a bejeweled with faux fur around the edge mask. That's what I see Maddie in. All right, here we go with the forecast. 25 degrees, the forecasted overnight low. By this model, we're going up to about 26 for tonight. Either way, too cold, correct. 22 in Asheville, 26 in Boone, some 40s coast side. We are looking at clear skies as we head into the night tonight and most of the day tomorrow. It will be a little bit warmer tomorrow. Not much, but a little bit at least. Still below our normal, but we're close to it rather. 53, partly cloudy for Wednesday. Then we'll go above normal, close to 60. Thursday, Friday, lots of sun. Saturday, a few clouds build. That's our high of 60. Back down to the low to mid 50s with a rain chance Sunday, Monday. And we'll clear out Tuesday and remain cold at 49 degrees.
Hello, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Hi, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut.
Hi, Kelly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is there something fancy off the top?
Not live. That won't be impacted, and it won't be able to. Hey, it's Alma. I'm out here in Fisher Park. The sun is setting.
Yes, hello, Mike Check. We're going to begin with some breaking news. More than 80%
It's time for my 2 cents. I often find myself living by the prepare for the worst but hope for the best. It's a good way to be ready for anything that may come your way while also staying optimistic. And I think we all need to adopt that way of thinking when it comes to 2021. I know, 2020 has been a doozy. We've had to deal with the worst of the worst on so many fronts, and I hope there will never be another year like it. But because it's been so bad, many people are counting down the days until January 1st, 2021, believing the new year will bring, well, new things. But guys, let's remember that we could still be dealing with a lot of this even in 2021. I hate to be that person, that negative Nancy who is raining on your parade, but let's be real. The clock striking midnight is not going to magically rid the world of COVID or political division or tension in our society. That's not to say we shouldn't be hopeful that a lot will improve in 2021. I think it will. There are bright things on the horizon. But we need to prepare ourselves for the possibility that all of that change is going to take some time. It won't be instant, and it won't simply be because the change of one digit. So prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. That's my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
We begin with breaking news. More than 80% of North Carolina counties have high or critical COVID-19 numbers.
Governor Cooper calls the trends alarming, and because of the rising numbers, he has issued a modified